Hello, welcome to another one. In this one, we'll be discussing about the reading section. So the resources I will be using for the practicing the reading questions is the ETS official site, which make this test, which conduct this test. So we'll be using that. So if you feel that you are lacking in reading sections, I know a lot of people do, because it's getting really tough these days because of the time, right? And it's tricky questions. Each pass two passages, and each has 10 different types of questions. So a lot of information, overwhelming. Then, so if you need help, there's a lot of online platforms. So at SEDMAT, Test, Cladder, and also the other resources. But I found that the ETS official site, they're really helpful. So if they posted daily practice questions, you can do that, and then you can purchase your course if you can. That's really helpful. That's what I did, and it was really helpful. So that will be using in this video, and all the passages will be actually from that source of information. So let's get started. So is you may be familiar with the different types of questions in the reading sections. So actually we have two passages which can be from any topic. It can be from the science, it can be from the natural technology, whatever, history, you name it. So that's not the thing that you focus on specific topic. That's not gonna help. The thing is, you should know how to attempt these questions. It can be from any topic. So I will be practicing some real questions from actually the source, which is the ETS. So I will be practicing those. So let's get started. So the thing is, it's gonna be a bit lengthy video, so bear with me. The first questions in the reading section is actually the factual questions. Factual questions are basically deals about the facts. So factual questions can be detailed questions, also known as detailed question, and it can also be the negative factual questions. So what is the strategy to attempt the factual questions, and how to correct the answer? So the thing is, when you're answering about the factual questions, you have to know for specific facts. So let's into the example. So factual questions talks about the facts, talks about the details. How you identify these type of questions is common ways are include according to paragraph X, according to paragraph Y. The question starts like that, or it may be asked about which of the following is presented in paragraph Y as an evidence that, and in paragraph Y what the author means, giving the details that believing that. So it could be different ways to answer the same questions, but you know that this question is facts. So how to attempt the factual questions? So factual questions, the key is you find about the keywords. If you know that the keyword is this, and you know about the detailed questions, the specific details, then it's really get easy to attempt the question. So let's put in an example. So there is a sample passage which asks about the this question. So it says the passage is actually about the history questions. Bacteriologist Alexander Fleming observed it's about actually the bacteria and kind of things. So he invented one of the bacteria, and then he discarded it, and then the facts, this passage is all about this. So what? How it's now? It says, according to the passage, which was there a delay? Why was there a delay between the Fleming discovery of penicillin and significant use? So now, if you see there, the keyword is the delay. What was this delay and the significant use? So here's another tip. So when you're attempting the reading questions, facts plus active elimination method, you have to eliminate the wrong answer first. So let's get into the answer. The answer says the usefulness of penicillin was immediately apparent after the discovery. The sample that Fleming saved bread mold did not survive Sir Hobbit slavery and was unaware of Fleming discovery, and process had to be developed to make it possible to separate, grow, and process. So let's this is the answer. So how you find the answer is that you go to you read the passage that discovery of penicillin delay. So quick reading, active reading is the first thing. So let's get there. So it says that animal was surrounded by a zone, the bacteria was disease, organisms such as staphylococcus, which was cause anything that could kill them was really able. Fleming saved a sample of mold, but he let on more even though he was recognized it was technique needed to be cultured and did not. So here is the key. If you see it, this is the key that even though they recognize the potential practical benefit of the penicillin, the technique needed to be grow to culture, and the process did not yet exist. So this is the hint, and you say that process has not been developed. So another way is reading has been tactical is that it use different wording. So it may use synonyms for the same word. So if you see it, that's one of the good example that they say that process has to be developed when it make possible to separate, grow, and possible penicillin. So this is about the factual question and how you attempt it. Three major things to note about factual questions. Details, go to specific details. Keywords, when you find it, you identify the keyword, and then your active interpretations, and then elimination method. So this is about the factual question. Ask is the inference questions. So inference question, as its name suggests, is what the question infer. That, to simplify, means that you draw a conclusion based on the information. So it's not what is stated in the question or in the passage, but you draw a conclusion. So that makes it a bit tactical that how to answer an inference questions. How to identify that this question is inference question. So there is different terms that they frequently use. Words are like inferred, implies, and suggests in a question indicate that this is an inference question. However, not all inference questions will use these words. So that's so they can use other words, but these are the most common word that you use. So for example, which of the following can be inferred from the paragraph? So you know it that this is the inference questions. Then you say paragraph XYZ suggests that, and then you know that this question is an inference question, and then you go to information and paragraph implies that. So again, you know that this question is an inference question. So how to attempt these questions? The first tactical method, the tips to deal with inference questions is to draw conclusions. So you have information, and then you have to indirectly interpret the meaning. So let's say put in an example and will works. So this question is about a passage which is about history. It says that about 1100 years ago, Actually, 1,000 years ago, many large herbivores, plant eaters become extinct, and then it's about the history questions in America that the herbivores or the plant eaters they become extinct. What was the reason? So they didn't do about the research. So you get a broad perspective of what's going to happen in this passage. So the question is the argument that of the scientists who support the idea that human hunting caused the extinction suggests which of the following about the herbivores in Equisia and Africa. So they ask about that there is multiple reasons that people in herbivores in Equisia in Africa they were extinct. Why is it due to human hunting or is the other reasons? If it's human hunting, what is the evidence for that? So you have to look in the passage. So the passage now, if we see the answer says that they were not hurted by the humans. So if you look in the passage, so in the passage it says researcher, and then the other answer is that they had learned ahead of the humans. They were generally larger than herbivores in America, and they had recently migrated to Equisia in Africa. So you go to this passage. The passage says for the first answer, you have whether it's correct or it's wrong. You have to check it out. So if we check that they were not halted by the humans, right? It's incorrect because no information in the passage suggests that these herbivores and were not being hurted. So this is the indirect information. You cannot get this information directly from the passage. You have to interpret what is said. The another is they had learned and to be afraid of humans. So let's they have learned to be afraid of human is if you see the last three sentences, field extension occurred in Indonesia and Africa where large animals had long with the hunters. Finally, these species that did not become extinct had recently migrated where they had learned to fear from the hunters. You see it? I feel that this could be the right answer, but let's pass and see what the other answer says. They were generally larger than herbivores in America. Let's see how is the possibility. The large extension, especially in North and South Africa, where humans have arrived. I don't see anything about this. They recently migrated. Let's see. I see somewhere. Finally, these species that did not become had. So, if you see the last thing, so there is the wording how they changed the word. The answer said that they had recently migrated to, and that's why they become extinct. But it says sentence says that these species they did not become extinct. So those who migrated to their regions in Africa they did not extinct. So the answer is the second, which is that they had learned all afraid of humans. So this is how you attempt inference questions. So inference questions, you interpret the information. So that's the key. You know the key is how to interpret words and it simplifies. It is stated in the passage, but you have to actually interpret it. Type of questions that we're going to be discussing is rhetorical purpose. So rhetorical purpose requires you to understand why the author includes specific information. So it says why this author include that information. That information actually refers to something else. So you have to know the reasons behind that piece of information. So how to know that this question is rhetorical, right? Let's see, what are the different means or hands that they have to do this. So the rhetorical purpose questions can be comparison and contrast questions, right? There will be some comparison and some contrasting information. That's why this piece of information has been put, and the author asks you that why this is. It can be some statistical information. It can be some examples, like, so for instance, let's simplify. Like, I say that and the sky is blue, right? So this was said that the sky is blue is why, because of some reasons, right? That there is reflection of this and that and that. So that phenomena will firstly be briefly described, and then the author put in information, and so you have to put that first information, right? That's what rhetorical purpose is. It can be quotations from others, it can be some questions. So examples, there are why does the author discuss the example of this in the paragraph XYZ? It could be like this, it could be like this, that why does the author discuss the size of moon in paragraph this? So there would be in the first sentence, there would be some kind of information that discuss that the moon size is either big or small, whatever. So that would be a comparison question. So, and another one could be in paragraph XC, why does the author information this, right? So it could be different things, but you know it how this thing, or it could be the most common is what is the main idea of paragraph this. So it can be a sentence, it can be a whole paragraph. So in this scenario, it can be a paragraph. So you have to summarize the whole paragraph, that what is the main idea, what is the main theme of that. Let's get into the example. So what is the example? Mostly these information, they are bolded, and they to make it easier for you. So this passage is about the industrializations, that how manufacturing of clothing depended on sewing machines and constitutional technological developments and working history in the United States, and the introduction of sewing machines and accelerated the subdivision of clothing production. And so how it's actually the inventions, scientific invention, benefit the manufacturing industry, and it multiplies the productivity, improve the product scale. So actually this is all about the main idea of this passage. So another thing, if you are looking for the main idea of passage, is the first two sentences and the last two sentences. It gives briefly describe what is going on with this passage. So if you deeply understand the first two sentence and the last two sentence, then it will be tells you about the main idea. So in this question, it says why the author include the information a single worker no longer made an entire piece of clothing. So this is the specific information, and the author wants you to know why this is mentioned. Answer. Let's get into the answer and tips. So first step, so you have to look for the actually the keyword is there, so you have to look around one sentence before and one sentence after that specific piece of information to give a brief details. And sometimes you have to read the whole passage, but that's really odd. So examples, let's take to the answer. To explain, the individual worker wanted to run and maintain. So if you study the first sentence, the introduction of sewing has accelerated the clothing production. Okay, so it has accelerated the subdivision of clothing production, so it has multiplied, so productivity increase. But here is But instead of spent long hours saving on scenes on the physical and spiritual tool of endless repetitive motions. Unlike the large textile sewing machine designed to be held in the okay. So I don't think the first is the answer. Second is to explain why it was inexpensive. I don't see anything about the expense here. Third is to point out specifically that a sewing machine has changed clothing manufacturing. Looks a potential answer. Third is to challenge the idea that introduction of sewing machine was an important development uh, in a clothing manufacturing. I don't think so, because the whole passage is about the benefits and the pros of the uh, sewing machine introductions, inventions. It's not about the challenging this idea. So the potential answer in this would be, and the correct answer would be C, which is to point out the specific way that sewing machine changed the clothing manufacturing. So this is really easy question if you see it, but you have to understand first question, second questions, and then the whole broader perspective. Another type of questions in the reading passage is sentence restatement questions or sentence insertion questions. So it tests your ability to differentiate between essential information in a sentence that is relevant, and also test your ability to information that are not essentials. So you have to match it and give it a logical pattern in logical order. So how to answer these questions? There is two basic key points regarding answering this question. Is you have to know what is the main idea of the sentence. So the main idea, as stated earlier, is you can get the main idea from the first two sentences of the each passage, or maybe just you're looking around the topic sentence. It says sometimes it's really very obvious that this is the main idea. And the other thing is which information is essential for conveying that main idea. So the you got the main idea, and then the information which is stated, is it the information stated is relevant to the main idea or not? That is the key question. So when you answer that, so that's you got there. So let's get into the questions. This passage is about the incompetent leadership for the decline in the Ottoman Empire is not completely convincing. So the modern scholars have sought their explanations. So this is the passage actually. So beginning the 17th century, the Ottoman Empire was operating in a totally different environment, but internally and overseas had when the empire began. The development of the empire had transformed the state from one primary goal to the territorial expansions by the military conquest, and by which therefore required an active military ruler generals to lead the armies. A bureaucracy state that had to deal with such factors as just international commerce and diplomatic relations within expanding Europe. So this is the passage. What is the question? So the question said that usually these question will be highlighted. So this says, which of the following sentences best express the essential information in the highlighted sentence? This is the questions. Incorrect choices changes the meaning in important ways or leave out the essential information. So what is stated in the highlighted portion, you have to just explain that. So the answer are, in order to expand into the Europe, the empire changed its method of territorial expansion from military conquest by armies headed by the rulers, diplomacy, and I don't think so. This is the right answer because it says The development it has transformed from one primary goal was territorial expansion by military conquest. So it is by military conquest, not. But here it says that it has changed from military conquest by ruler. So this is not what is stated in the information. Second says that as in the empire developed, more focus had to be placed on international commerce and diplomacy and less on the territorial expansion which characterized the earlier empire. Let's see. So FEC, the development has transformed one whose primary goal was with therefore requiring active material to a bureaucratic style. Okay, I think this is the right answer. The thing is, if you see it, so the development had transformed from one, which was the primary goal was territorial expansion, to what? To a bureaucratic style, which deals about the international commerce, right? I think it's the right answer, but let's look at the other answer too. Although the ruler generally contributed to the empire and the bureaucracy has established to deal with the international. Nope. In last one, in the transform Ottoman, the ruler was not only the armies in the missions, I don't think, but control the bureaucracy and truly deal with international commerce. Nope. It doesn't say anything about this, the information stated in this answer. So the correct answer is actually the B, because the information has been stated and has stated that how it explains it, that how they have changed its focus is of center from territorial expansion to international commerce and business and other trade things. So this is the right answer. So the last question of the reading passage is usually the summary questions. You have usually 3 correct answer and 3 incorrect answer. So you have to choose 3 main correct answer which contribute to what is stated in the questions. It has to be noticed that it is not about the topic sentence, but it is about what is stated in that question. So mostly people they mess it up with that, with the main idea of the topic. Main idea of the topic is not something discussed. If it is discussed and asked about that question, you are free to select those answers which contributes to the main idea. But the thing is, you have to look into the topic sentence, which is what they ask in that questions. So when you answer whole those passages, so you have a brief idea of what's going on with the passage. So you have somehow know that what is going on with the passage, so you can select the answer. But let's discuss. The thing is, this question is tricky because it carries 2 points actually. So if you select 2 correct answer, you got 1 points, and if you select 3, then you got 2 points. So it's really a tricky question, and it impacts your score broadly. So if you correct all the 2 questions in the 2 passages, so it carries 4 points, so which can dramatically change your score. So let's exemplify it. So how to answer these questions? So it's usually the question will be stated as that summarize the major 3 points contributing to this question. So you have to select 3 answer. So how to answer this? The first thing is, the key is, you read the topic sentence, then you read the first 2 sentences of each paragraph and the last 2 sentences of the paragraph. First 2 sentences of the second paragraph, third paragraph, and then you go ahead, right? So it will gives you a broader perspective that what's going on with this passage, so you can answer that question broadly. So you have, the first thing is you have to read the passage, but I give you the hint that you don't have to read the whole passage because you have just 2 minutes, to be honest. So you don't have a lot of time. Review the bolded sentence that begins the summary of the passage, right? Yeah, so that's the thing that you have to the bolded sentence, you have to pay more attention about that, and was the essential information contributing to the main idea. Then if you select the three actually answer, so the first thing is another one very important method which can help you to correctly answer this one is active elimination process. So the active elimination is you select the information which is not correct, so you actively eliminate that, you actively eliminate the wrong answer. So what do you have? You have the right answer. So if you select the answer which are not complete right, so that will be what you have is the right answer. So the tips is if you just note down the main idea, that's also helpful. So write down the main idea of each paragraph, and it could be helpful. It could be another way as to draw a conclusion of each paragraph, that will be helpful. So use your pencil actively in this question will be really helpful. Introductory statement may preview the order of the discussion. That's what I stated, that the introductory statement of each sentence gives you a brief overview what's going on to be happening in the rest paragraph. So this is the key terms in the answer may help you to locate the discussions. Correct answer restate the main idea. That's really key when you're answering this question. So sometimes they restate the question, they use different wording, different synonym to make you confused. But the thing is, if you know the main idea and you know that this answer is contributing to the main idea, then go for it. That's your right answer. So let's exemplify it. So this is the passage about the lateral fraction and plot, right? The plot of the lateral fraction explains one or more conflicts moving from the explosion to complication to climax and finally to resolution. So this is about that, and the question is, below is the introductory sentence, a brief summary of the complete the summary by selecting 3 of the answer choices that express the most important idea about the passage. So this is the information. So if we see it, so our conflict in an element of the center plot unfold gradually and usually converge that lead to the climax, right? And then essential element in storytelling, the ordering of events can be influenced by the. So these are the some of the right answer. So what it says, the writing is actually, if you see it, why A is right. So A is right because it describes the key feature of a plot and what it consists of. Again, it is actually contributing to the main idea. And the second is the B. The B is an author main statement of plot, but incorrectly depends it. It stated what is, but it does not include the right information. C is correct because the broader use of the 2 or more key ideas which depends the plotting. D is also correct because the main idea and the main topic, which is the plot and the key connection to writer intentions. And E and F is false again because F is plus the information which are not discussed and in the passage, and E is incorrect because it accurately declines the information what is stated in the passage. So again, the key is you have to know how to restate the information. So use your pen and pencils, grab the main idea of each paragraph, and then when you're answering the question, apply the method of active eliminations. Eliminate all those incorrect answers. And what do you have? You have the right answer. So see you in the next one. We'll be discussing more about the speaking in upcoming videos. Let me know in the comment section what's your thoughts about this, how it helps. See ya.